Hi everyone, this is my first video for the very first prompt with Dede, and for the file folders, and the very first prompt is nature and plants, and I just pulled out a bunch of outdoor pictures, just clipped from magazines. These are from a desk calendar, and I've got several calendar pages that I have here. All of these are from calendars, and I actually picked these calendars up. I got some of them at Books A Million. If you go in February, they start putting all of their calendars on clearance, and I think these were $3 a piece. I can't remember. And then I also found some later on in the year at Half Price Bookstore for $1. So I grabbed any of the ones that had flowers or outside images, butterflies, things like that. So I try to grab those whenever they're on sale, because calendars are expensive if you buy them brand new. Not brand new, but when they first come out in December. And then I've got my Ultimate Rose book that I love, and I cut my roses from. So I also have, I'm going to use just an Elmer's glue stick. This is the extreme one, and it's supposed to be a whole lot stronger. I always glue on both sides. I glue on the back, and then I glue on the paper just to make sure that I get a nice good, it stuck down really well. I've got my good sharp scissors. I've got my little paper trimmer so that I can trim these sheets to fit on here nicely. And then I think, since these are slick pages, I am going to go ahead and paint this entire file folder with a coat of gesso first, just because I feel like having that gesso on this file folder will just kind of help the glue stay stuck down better, because the file folder is really slick and these are really slick, and this will kind of just give the paper a little bit of tooth to make sure that things stay stuck down pretty well. So I really don't totally have a plan. I just pulled all of this stuff up. I'm going to cover pretty much the whole thing with images, and we will see what happens. Okay, so I am just going to cover the front and the back of this file folder with just a nice thin coat of gesso, just to give the magazine pages, the calendar pages, something good to hold on to. And this is a calendar page from just a desk calendar, and I'm just trimming it to size to make sure that it fits nice and well on the front. I like to use deli paper to put behind whatever I'm working on, just so that I don't get glue all over my work surface, and it just helps protect the images that I'm working with, and just kind of helps keep things clean and from sticking together. So I put glue down on the file folder, and I'm also putting glue on the back of the calendar page, just because it helps the page adhere very well if you glue it down on both sides. And just trimming off the edges there. And now for the inside on the flap, I thought it would be neat to have the front of each pocket different. So I just pulled out several different outside nature pieces of paper that are, some of them are clipped from magazines, some of them are from calendar, and I have those stored in with my drawer units that I sort all of my collage images in. I have one that is just labeled
outside. So I just the other day went through and pulled out some papers that I thought would work for this. I love green, so I definitely went towards green, because when I think nature, I think green. I think outside and beautiful and green. So obviously a lot of the images that I chose have a lot of green in them. And I just measured the area that I was trying to cut these pages for, so that I could so that they would fit on the front well. So I am setting all of the extra pieces of paper that I am trimming off. I'm setting those in a pile off to the side, and I will place those back into my collage drawer with my outdoor images, and I will either use them on, there'll be great sizes for ATCs or postcards, but for now I'm just stacking them up in a pile just in case I might want to use them in another part of my file folder. And here I'm just kind of trying to figure out what order I want to place the images down, what I like, how it looks the best. And I had forgotten to trim them down to be, so they weren't so tall. So that's what I'm doing here, is just trimming them down. And once again, I'm just placing some deli paper in the flap, and that way I can glue on this and not have to worry about getting glue on the other side of my file folder right now. And after I had glued down this, the third image, I realized that I had gotten the pictures out of order and they weren't in the order that I had wanted them, so I was able to peel off the one image and switch places with them. You usually have a minute or so to work with the image when you use the glue stick. It doesn't adhere immediately if you have the glue on there pretty thick, so sometimes if you're very careful you can rearrange things if you need to. So there's the completed front, and I was just folding it to make sure that it's still folded up nicely. And I think eventually I might put some washi tape there where the folds are. So this was actually day 2. It took me a couple days to work on this. We went out of town and it kind of messed up my schedule that I was trying to create this in one day. So this is day 2, so I'm going to be working on the inside of the folder, and I just chose 2 calendar pages that are close-ups of some floral. And one of the reasons why I chose these is because it's actually a pretty cheap calendar and the pages are very thin. So I knew that it would work on the inside. I wouldn't have to cut this up, and it would fold easily because the paper is actually so thin. I don't know if I would try this with a real thick calendar page. Might work better if you actually cut the image to fit into each panel, just because the thicker paper does not fold as nicely. It wouldn't fold as easily as this thin paper does. So on the second calendar page, I am cutting out around the side of the flowers because I want them to overlap the straight edge of the white flower calendar page. And I like cutting out the flowers so it just kind of blends more naturally. When I first started this, I wasn't originally planning on covering the whole inside because the folded up edge will be folded up and you won't tell that there's anything behind it. But since these pages were so large and they completely covered the whole file folder, I decided to just use the whole image. And I always use a cotton baby washcloth to rub my images down, just folding it really well just to make sure that the creases are folded. But I like using the cotton washcloths because they are very, very, very soft, and I am able to rub over the images that I glue down, and it helps get any creases out, any air bubbles out, and just it helps me get the image applied very smoothly onto my surface. So now I decided to go ahead and use the leftover pieces from the calendar pages and the magazine page that I used on the inside of the front pockets. They kind of puzzle pieced fit on the back, and since I had them there and I don't like wasting anything, I decided to go ahead and use those to cover the back of my file folder. And after I complete this step, this will be the end of this first video. I'm breaking this up into 2 parts. The second part, I gathered some flowers that I'm going to cut out, and I'm going to use those to just embellish around the more parts of the page of the file folder, and I'll also add the words to my folder then. I hope you enjoyed this first part of the video and that you have fun as we work on our file folders for the next 12 weeks with Dede. Check out her Ustream. I'll post all of the links down in the description box below. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.